Today, we're going to talk about a topic that is really dear to me, something that I have been very present, very aware of, that I'm still allowing to settle in and that I'm still applying myself, but that I've been thinking about and that has been in the forefront of my mind consciously for the past year or so. It's time for us to let go of the past, to allow a new reality to come in, to allow ourselves to just enjoy life, be joyful, embrace blessings, and believe that good times are ahead. But it's so much easier said than done. And even being prepared to look at the world in a different kind of way when we come out of a period where life felt like a real uphill battle and we felt like we were constantly fighting and everything felt so heavy and there was just obstacle after obstacle. It takes a while to rewire our mind and reprogram ourselves to be ready to prepare for a new season and to receive the good times that lie ahead. If you believe in those good times, if you believe that you deserve it and that your work and your effort is all leading to something very good. You're going to reap what you sow at the end of the day. I truly believe that. But sometimes we have to also get prepared and prepare ourselves. Or sometimes it's not even something that we do consciously, but I hope this video can help us to think about it in a more conscious way and to maybe be aware how this has been happening in our life or how we can give ourselves more space for this transition and be more aware of that. So let's get ready to talk about it. We're going to put on some new glasses to look at the world differently. So it's been a little while. I'm so happy to be back. I just finished with exams. So thank you so much for being so patient with me. And I'm very happy to be back and I feel really good. I really think that good times are ahead. It has been a very tumultuous past 4 years. And I think I speak for most of humanity. I think since everything that happened in lockdown, we have been pushed in some kind of alternate reality where things have just been so weird and strange, and we had to look at life in a different way and we had to look at ourselves in a different way, and it has kind of pushed us in this corner that maybe we would have never been in if things and circumstances and life wouldn't have put us in this position. For some people, it might have felt like it has set us back for a few years, or it might have, blocked certain plans that we had. And it can be very frustrating when you already have the ideas of where you want to go, or you know what you want your life to look at, and suddenly circumstance makes everything stop. For others, it has brought them so much closer to themselves and really taken the time to pause, look at what they wanted, and do some healing. I feel like a lot of people have been opened up to this space. I think the lockdown and everything has really, for a lot of people, forced them to stop. It forced them to stop and to really look at your life and do like an inventory of everything. Inventory, is that the word? Of everything, and ask yourself the questions like, what do I really want? What really makes me happy? What is hurting me? What do I want to take with me in the future? And what do I want to leave behind? What habits are beneficial and what aren't, right? And for me, if you've been following me, if you've been on this journey for me with a little while, I think you must know that that is exactly what happened for me. It's really been a time where I had almost no social contact. I lost a lot of friends right before COVID as well and during as well. So it really put me in a position where I was forced to do a lot of healing and to look myself in the mirror and really say okay, these are the things I hate about myself. These are the behaviors that I don't want to take into the future. These are things about me that I don't like, that I want to work on. These are aspects about me that I do like and that I want to put some more spotlight onto, So really looking at myself and also looking at the past, allowing my mind to wander to my childhood and to understand the things that I've been going through, the things that have affected my persona, my character, my behavior, and really doing the work on a daily basis. It has been an every single day job for me almost. There is no days off when you do mental work, kind of. Some days, it's also okay to not really do anything, but that's also part of the journey. But I felt like once you're in it, you can't really get out. I don't know. But at the same time, so I always felt like they kept getting obstacles, things just kept being hard, and nothing was really easy. And after a while, I also watched videos like these where, you constantly needed that I constantly needed that motivation. I constantly needed to believe something externally. Sometimes it could be conversations with people or meeting people or watching a lot of content or having certain behaviors that you apply because it is giving you hope. It's something to hold on to when you feel like you're working towards something, but nothing in your direct environment is showing you that what you're doing is leading to somewhere. Same with the content. I've been doing this for 4 years now, but it's only now that I start to feel like it's actually doing something. And it also takes time for your behavior to be actually perceived, for you to trust yourself again in your new persona, in your new habits, and to see the results of your labor. It's at the beginning, it's easy to expect things to come from one day to the next. And our patience is really going to get tested. Our patience is really going to be put to practice. I had to soon learn that it's not going to be a quick fix, or wishing for a miracle is not what's going to get me to the place that I really want to be, because it takes work. And to have fruits, to have a foundation, to build a foundation that's going to last you a lifetime, you have to put in years and years of work. Also depends how much work there's to do and at which pace you can do the work. It's going to be different for everyone depending on where you are in your life, what the circumstances are. Some people can do in 2 years what other people maybe do in 10 years. So also comparing the journey, it can feel very frustrating and make us feel like we're not doing things right, and actually constantly put more pressure on the journey in total. Exactly a year ago in like March, so not exactly a year ago, but like I think March 2023 for me felt like a time where I consciously knew that I had found peace. I had found mental peace. I wasn't feeling the need to constantly prove myself, to constantly work on myself. I was learning to tell myself that I am already perfect as I am. I am good as I am. I came from a time, and sometimes we are also meant to believe with self help and like all these videos about growth and discipline and like working on yourself, which I truly believe in. It has changed my life. But everything is a double edged sword. And I think the other side of the coin can be that we start to feel like we are never good enough. We start to feel like we constantly have to work on ourselves, that we're constantly going to make mistakes. And that's where it can get a little bit tricky, because it's going to burn you out. Because at some point, you're going to realize that you're never going to be completely healed. There's never going to be a point in your journey where you're going to be perfect, where you're never going to be hurt again, where there's never going to be any obstacles, where life is just going to be perfect. So if you are still waiting for that time in your life where things will just be perfect, you will no longer have hurt, you will never meet people that will misuse the relationship or abuse you, you will never have bad relationships, bad work ventures, we have to realize at that point it's never going to come. There's never going to be a place in life where everything is going to be perfect, where we have reached some kind of level of self mastery where we are just above the mess and the chaos of life, and also just the mistakes that humans make, or even the mistakes that we are able to make ourselves. Getting acceptance and accepting that and forgiving ourselves for not being perfect, and also loving ourselves and just accepting the fact that life is going to be difficult. There's no way to go around that. But that is going to bring us so much peace. And for me, that has brought me so much peace, because somewhere it felt like I could finally stop feeling like I'm constantly at war. I'm constantly have to be on guard. I constantly have to protect myself. There was literally a time where everything felt like I was constantly having to prove myself, constantly having to fight. And it can be very exhausting. And it can really feel like, well, when am I going to get out of this place? And usually that place is somewhere that we are in mentally. Okay, a lot of the times things happen outside of us, that's true. But expecting the things outside of us to change before finding that inner peace, that inner acceptance, will leave us hanging forever by a thread, maybe. So, this is really about changing the mindset into believing that you are strong enough and you have been building your character and you can also grow strong enough, create that trust within yourself to where you get to that place where you know no matter what comes ahead, I can conquer this. No matter what battles come, I will get above this. I will survive this because I have been a survivor. But we just have to sometimes build that trust, which also takes some time. If you ever listen to my podcast, I talked a lot about, not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and working towards that light at the end of the tunnel. And once I changed my mindset like that, it was like I finally came out of the tunnel. But the time to adapt to the light when you've been in darkness for such a long time, I think that also wasn't something that I was prepared for. I think I have a metaphor for this. It's like I came out of war, I came out of a very long war, and I still have my armor on, and I'm on safe land right now. I'm in a safe zone, but I'm still very traumatized from the war, and I don't trust the environment. Something in me is still very alert. Something in me is still very ready to be attacked at any moment, even though there's no signs of any attack being possible. And I'm not ready to take off my armor yet. So we can be in this place already where we have the peace, where somewhere we know that we're safe, but really settling into that place and really allowing ourselves to transition from the surviving to the thriving can also be such a long process that might take a bit longer than we were aware of or that we were prepared for, which can also put in some more frustration and pressure towards ourselves that can make us doubt ourselves again. Right when you think everything is supposed to be good, we can still feel some resistance. But this time, I was very aware that the resistance came from myself. I still didn't let go of my armor and I still didn't believe I wasn't feeling safe in the environment. I still felt like there was going to be new things coming up every moment and that I'm just not safe where I'm at. And that's very heavy, keeping on that armor in a space where I can just walk through the valleys and touch the grass and like look at the blue sky. But I just came from a very heavy war. I mean, that's just a metaphor. I hope it kind of makes sense. But spiritually, I would really like put it like that. And the armor can be like different things. The armor can be some coping mechanisms that we used when we were still going through the hard time that we still bring into the new times where we are good, where we wanted blessings. It can be some habits. It can be some people that we had around us for comfort. It's a transition time. So we can be mentally aware and we can also handle ourselves differently, but there still can be some habits that link us back to the person that we were or that are actually tying us to our way of seeing the world. It can also be some thoughts. And the thought part, say it a lot of the time, our mind is literally the way to master ourselves and has so much control of our way and our experience of the world. So the way that we think and the thoughts that we repeat to ourselves can really make us behave in a way that tells our brain that we're actually in a different place and that we're still not really ready to feel free, to feel safe, to thrive, and to let go and to trust. And that was for me a very long transition over the past year, which has brought me to another dark place in another way. But it was to let go and to look at the things that are still holding me back, to look at the habits that are still holding me back. Thoughts don't come from nowhere a lot of the times. We can feed our thoughts with certain habits, also with certain types of content, and that can really stimulate a certain thought pattern that maybe we are ready to let go of. So the most important part for this, for me saying this as well, is definitely to be aware of it. it can always start with just like being aware of what we think and really looking at our behavior. Where does it come from? And maybe redirect our energy. I think really taking like a look at where you put your energy and time in, reassess like what was I doing on a daily basis a year ago and what do I want to be doing over the next 6 months? What are my goals in life? And what can you implement today that will bring you closer to those goals? How can you shift your routine? How can you shift your habits, your everyday life that will not drag you back into the old habits that you have when you were in this very low, dark place in your life? And how can you implement the new things? And, it can be very tough sometimes, the transition. Even physically, for me, it was very hard. I went back to the gym. But when I'm in such a low place, sometimes I really feel physically weak. And even just the idea of going to the gym, physically, I just felt like I couldn't. And sometimes it's also circumstance. Sometimes we want to do things, but we don't have the space or we don't have the money or we just don't feel like it's the right time. So it can really take a long time to fully be in the place that we are. But one thing life is really gonna keep teaching us, and something that I just have had to find such a deep peace with, that I can now live my everyday life without feeling like anything is missing or without feeling that I have to attain certain things as soon as possible, is finding patience and knowing that good things take time and not expecting anything tomorrow, not even in 6 months, not even in a year. I'm just good. Like, I know life is pretty long. If God willing, I can live a long life. I really hope I do, because there's so many more things I want to do. But it is not easy. A year goes really fast, but at the same time, sometimes it feels really slow. And our body, mind, and sometimes our emotions as well need a longer time that we might want to admit ourselves, accept ourselves, to process some things and to transition in a new, safer space. So that's all to really say that things do not change from one day to the next. So be very conscious of the place that you want to go. Focus on where you want to head to. Focus on what are your goals. Take the time to write about the things that you want to invest more in. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe you want to start cooking more. Maybe you want to work more on your body. Maybe you want to study something, read more books, go more into nature, work on a certain craft, idea, get creative, get back working more. There's so many things that sometimes we want to accomplish. But a lot of the times we're just in places in life where we feel mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally unable to focus on these goals, to focus, to find the strength, to put in the energy into the things that we want to see grow. We feel unfit. We feel like we're not ready, like we're not strong enough. It's okay to be in that place. Be gracious with yourself. Allow yourself the space to heal, to grieve, to not know what you're doing, to sometimes feel useless. We are inherently so valuable, and it's not our productivity that makes us more valuable. So that's also something that we can find peace in. So when you get more productive, it's not to prove something to yourself or not to feel yourself like you're good enough or worth it, but really because you enjoy doing it and it's something that you do for fun. It's something that you do because it makes you feel good. It gives you energy. It makes you feel more alive, and it makes you feel more aligned. Wherever you are right now, this too shall pass. Healing is not linear. Life is not a linear process, but accepting that everything is with ups and downs and creating the space to also have those downs will help us to get more used to bouncing back more quickly. I think for me, it's not about staying high. I just more rapidly learn to more faster bounce back, like get back up. Like, I know some days I just have to lay back, not do anything, but it will be easier to get back the next day because I know that is just part of the journey. And in that day down, I'm not like rethinking my whole life and like judging myself and thinking that something is wrong with me because I'm not doing something right today and maybe I'm not good enough. It also allows you in the places where you are down and you just need some rest to take that rest without constantly feeling like you're doing something wrong or that something is wrong with you. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, share it. I'm almost at 1K subscribers. I wanted to have it before summer starts. I have 10 days left, or like 9. I couldn't upload all June because I was studying, so I don't know if we can get it, but it's only like a few like 70 kind of followers, so that would mean so much to me. And if you like this content, feel free to share if you feel like anyone should hear from it. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.